r/askreddit. People with multiple pets, what is some drama going on between them right now? We have a pigeon that's half blind and can't fly that started using our tortoise's terrarium as its house in winter. Problems began when we started letting our tortoises outside in summer, since they would randomly meet inside of it and the pigeon would panic. Now he has learned that the tortoises are harmless, so now they just chill. My cat was near a vent and meowed when I picked her up. Now the neighbor's dog is going nuts and they scream at each other through it. I have a cat and chickens. One of my chickens chased my cat yesterday and now she's hiding in my room. The cat desperately wants to play with the dog. The dog, who played with our last cat like best friends, absolutely refuses to have anything to do with her. It makes me sad. I feel bad for both of them. We have a new foster dog who is terrified of the world and everything in it. She's been cowering in the corner of the kitchen for days, but she's just now getting brave enough to start coming out to solicit attention. Our resident dog is jealous, so she keeps coming over to try to steal the attention. The foster dog loves the resident dog, and seems to get braver when she's around, so that makes her more willing to come out. So resident dog's jealous is accidentally feeding the bravery and socialization of the foster. She doesn't realize it, but that's exactly what we were hoping would happen. Who gets to sit in the spot where the sun is currently coming through the window next to me. We have two donkeys, geriatric donkey and chunky donkey. Chunky has separation anxiety and freaks if she can't see geriatric donkey. Geriatric donkey is too skinny and on a special high protein diet. Chunky donkey is, well, chunky, and is on a diet, which she hates, but is looking much better. To keep chunky donkey out of geriatric donkey's food, I have to separate them. Now chunky donkey is upset to be separated from geriatric and upset she can't steal geriatric's much yummier food. Upset donkeys are loud. My horses who are BFFs got a new buddy. Buddy likes both horses. Horse 1 likes Buddy, Horse 2 does not, so now original two horses are in a rough patch in their friendship. Feels like a cliche issue between high school girls. My blue heeler's scared of my cat. My cat chills with the Jack Russell but hates the blue heeler. The blue heeler doesn't like to be away from the Jack Russell. Cue a terrified dog staring into the room just to be hissed at. I have 3 small dogs and 1 cat. They work like a military regiment. The cat is big enough to look like a puma, so the 3 dogs follow whatever he wants. My flock of chickens is very dedicated to my rooster and obeys his every command with the exception of one hen named Vicky. She doesn't give a fuck about him and only wants to hang out with us humans. She follows me and my husband around the property 24/7 while we do chores and is super friendly and cute and chatty, and of course, we spoil her with delicious treats all day. Rooster does everything he can to get her attention, like pretending that there's danger nearby. Or he'll make the I found food call and pick up a pebble and pretend it's a treat he found. She doesn't even react when he does this anymore. If she starts to run toward us, he'll run ahead of her, stand in her way, and stomp his little rooster feet. She just runs past him, lol. He gets especially mad when she's late coming back to the coop at night because she's hanging out with us, and he tries to herd her back over to it. She doesn't give a fuck about him and just sits on the porch with us, and we watch him run around screaming and having a fit because she doesn't want to go to bed. It's hilarious. Somehow she's still like number 2 in the pecking order though. She's an alpha chicken. Edit. Here is Vicky. https://i.imager.com/azussao.jpg. And here's https://i.imager.com/fk77pwa.jpg, a blurry picture of the rooster puffing up in rage because I gave some corn to his wife. I have a girl cat that doesn't get along with her 2 younger brothers, who are peas in a pod. They chase her and she runs and hisses, absolutely terrified. We were at our wits' end because they aren't violent kitties except to her. Then we started watching her behavior more closely and noticed how she would play with them when she didn't think we were watching. Sit by them, show her belly, even groom them. As soon as she noticed we were in the room, she'd act like they attacked her, even if they hadn't done anything. Eye-opening for sure. My one cat knows how to open the pantry while the other cat waits behind to get the goods. I've had a cat and a dog for the past 3 years, but outside of the first time they met, they never really interacted with each other. However now, for whatever reason, they occasionally play with each other or, at least attempt to. They haven't really figured out a rhythm for how this all works, and it often ends with the dog running away in terror, which probably pleases the cat, but at least they're trying. My dog stole the blueberry Mykono was eating, so she fluffed up and head down charged at him and chased him around the room. My ducks are so dramatic about sharing their pools. I have 3 ducks and 2 pools, 1 green, 1 pink. All 3 have decided the pink pool is their favorite and fight over who gets to be in it. They all 3 can fit comfortably in one pool, but they chase each other out and fight about who gets to be the only one in there. It's hilarious to watch. This spring, I'm buying new pools. 3 all pink ones, lol. They also bully the wild birds and squirrels. And when they hear the neighborhood dogs start barking, they run to the back fence and start quacking really loud. My 2 tiny old lady dogs terrorize my younger, large dog. One is just old and cranky. One of them is playful and likes to scare him and watch him scramble. I swear she knows he is nervous and can't grip the kitchen floor. She waits in a doorway, then scares him with a bark in his face when he walks in, and I swear she is standing there, laughing at him, falling all over himself. I also have a cat that will smack the big dog if he barks too much. He is such a big dumb baby that every animal pushes him around. We recently got a kitten, juvenile now. He and the dog, a Brittany, wrestle, and it sounds awful, but they both love it. Then they'll snuggle on the couch and the cat will proceed to suckle on the dog's teeth, which she is totally fine with. It creeps my husband out. So I guess the drama is with him, lol. My cat has discovered my dog's bed, that he rarely uses, is bigger than hers. My dog has discovered she is using his neglected bed and has now decided he must use it immediately when he sees her on it. He barks at her and boops her with his nose. She just gets even more comfortable and looks at him as if to say, "Yeah right kiddo, you know who's boss around here." She is an 8-year-old hairless cat named Mew, and he is an almost 2-year-old Dogue de Bordeaux named Wilfred. Smiling face with hearts. I have an Airedale Terrier, 4 ducks, 50 chickens, and 6 goats. The chickens should have their own soap opera. One of the most interesting conflicts is with Tim Allen, who is one of my hens who was born with a deformity called scissor beak. Basically it's harder for her to eat, preen, etc., because her beak isn't lined up correctly, but she still manages. She's become my little buddy because of the help she needs, and she has her own section of the chicken run to eat without being bothered. Tim has the biggest balls out of all of my hens. If another hen so much as looks through the fence at her, and remember, I have 50 birds, so it happens all the time, she'll charge it and act all tough. Because she's behind a fence. When I put her back in the run after she is done eating, she tries to be best friends with everyone and most of the birds walk away. She'll try to share a dust bath, rejected. Group preening happening? Rejected. It's like she's 2 different birds depending on which section of the run she's in. That or she's come up with different rules in her head based off of where she is at the time. Either way, it's hilarious. Don't worry, she isn't lonely. She spends more than enough time with her human, and she also has a ragtag group of misfits that tend to accept her, even when she's being a dick. Chickens are so funny and can be very affectionate. If you have the room in your yard and in your heart, get some. Plus, fresh eggs are the bomb. My orange cat alternates between seeing my Colo as his best friend and tasty prey. I've seen them cuddle happily and play with toys together. I have also seen the cat wake up, stretch, walk over to the sleeping Colo just to smack him and calmly go back to his sleeping spot. My German Shepherd has figured out how to take a bite of her water and hold it in her mouth. She will then find the sleeping cat and dump the water on the cat. The cat understandably hates this. My German Shepherd takes endless delight in this. I recently bought an air tag for my keys because my Colo has always been a kleptomaniac and he has a new hiding spot I have yet to find. My old/fat cat gets really mad when I'm not sitting down. She wants me to sit down at all times so she can sit next to or on me. My other, little/young, cat wants to play with the big one. The big one does not want to play and smacks her. I have 2 cats and a dog. Earlier today my dog barked suddenly while my old cat was sitting next to her and scared him so much he went and hid under the kitchen table. My cats have an ongoing feud related to my younger cat being convinced she's a vampire and biting my older cat on the neck for no reason. This usually results in her being pushed off whatever surface they're sitting on. My parents have several cats. One was very old and ill and she was confined to their bedroom. I say confined, but she had luxury heated cat beds, a wall-mounted cat climbing frame, 1000 toys, and my parents spent a lot of time with her so she wasn't lonely. They also have several other cats who roam the house freely. Well, sadly the old kitty passed away a few weeks ago, broke everyone's hearts. But now that room is open and the other cats are all jockeying for poses sign of said room, and who gets to sleep on my parents' bed with them now. My poor parents, they are so exhausted from the all-night cat wars raging on top of them. Two of our cats have an odd situation with their allo grooming. One cat, the elder, has a normal cat tongue. Not smooth, but not painful. She'll groom the younger cat whenever they're feeling affectionate enough to not fight each other for space on a bed, window, etc. The younger cat has a set of small, freshly sharpened knives for a tongue. Once the elder cat is finished grooming her, she'll get up and try to reciprocate. Except, if we let her groom the older cat for more than a minute, she ends up with one of the elder cat's claws sticking out of her forehead. The younger cat, of course, has no idea why this keeps happening, and thus keeps trying to offer return grooming services, to the same results, every time. So we'll be watching TV or going to sleep, and all of a sudden we'll hear the schliep of the younger cat's ridiculously sharp tongue grating against the older cat. We have to rush into whatever room they're in, and it is loud enough to be heard in other rooms, and separate them before it goes on too long. I have a snake and a cat. They get along, and I swear they are always plotting her escape from her terrarium. Every time I walk in the room, they look guilty and are shoving their faces against the glass toward each other, sharing secrets. Two cats and a hedgehog. The cats are in disbelief that the hedgehog not only eats dry cat food as her diet, the audacity, but also that she gets a heat lamp and they don't. They are likely plotting a revolt. Two cats. Our older one likes to lay directly beside the automatic water fountain, guarding the watering hole like a predator lying in wait. Then our other cat comes up and wants to drink, but she won't let him. So he just licks the top of her head until she moves enough for him to get water. Yup, high drama. We'll be selling the movie rights later this year. The cat continues to give zero fucks the dog even exists. Dog finds this unacceptable. Three cats. The oldest and largest is a bit of a grump and not super fond of other cats. The youngest and smallest is extremely friendly and loves other cats. Smallest keeps trying to make friends, but it doesn't go well. Poor little guy. Sad face. At least the middle cat is agreeable to his affections and they are often found in a cuddle puddle. Three cats. The two ginger boys hate each other and the female just hates everything except belly rubs. The constant drama at our place is our fat cat is always trying to steal the little cat's food. He won't even finish his own food before he's trying to nab hers, even though they're fed in separate rooms. Someone needs to be on constant watch while they're eating, or else she won't get anything, poor thing. This isn't really drama, but I thought it was funny and I want to tell the story. Laying in bed last night and the wife asks how the cats decide when they are going to hang out in bed with us. Some nights we get all of them and some none. Last night we had none and she was curious about it. I said maybe the nights we don't have them they are having a meeting to discuss important cat business. Just then we heard two knocks out in the house. I asked what she thought that was. Without missing a beat she says calling their meeting to order obviously. One of my cats wanted a piece of premium canned tuna, and then his sister came and bitch slapped him, presumably because he wouldn't stop yelling. Now he is sulking on his own in the corner and wouldn't even look at us. Our younger dog, Simon, has reached peak little brother. Every day at 6 p.m. the dogs get bully sticks. Simon is very treat motivated. Our older dog, Kaylee, will get to it when she gets to it. As a result, Simon almost always has first pick. But he'll wait until Kaylee comes in to see which one she takes. Then he'll follow her around whining to try to get her to let him have that one. The newest development, he'll run somewhere and bark like there's an intruder. Kaylee will come running to investigate, and he'll go back and steal her bully stick. The bully stick he could have had from the beginning, but didn't want until she wanted it. I have two dogs. One is 4 and the other is 8 months. The 8-month-old always wants whatever the 4-year-old has, doesn't matter what, toy, bone, lap, cuddles, you name it. As you can imagine, the 4-year-old isn't the biggest fan of his younger brother. Edit, autocorrect. We only have the one Great Dane, but there is currently a mouse in the house. The drama of catching said mouse lasted until 5 a.m. this morning. Doggo thinks himself a great hunter, but his real superpower is barking and bunny hopping across the hardwood floor. The mouse still lives and we're all exhausted today. There's a prime comfy spot that one of my cats loves to sleep in and the other sits there just so she can't. I swear she even has a smug look on her face while doing it. We have 2 senior citizen pets and one that younger than them. The big cat and boss of the house is 18 years old and the hoarder of all the orange brain cells. He is seriously the smartest cat we've ever had. The dog is 12 years old and going blind. He and the little cat are best friends and hate being separated. It's okay if the little cat wants to hang about outside but further than the backyard and the dog is upset. The little cat, 8-year-old and most commonly called Booger, is our little troublemaker. I have 2 cats and a snake. The snake is irrelevant to the story. My wife and I got Grim, 17 pounds, medium gray fur, the day Force Awakens came out. He was a tiny kitten then. He's been very happy being a solo cat, despite repeated assertions from the shelter that 2 cats was better. Our apartment situation at the time made that impossible. June of 22, on my wife and I's anniversary, we were driving down a back road when my wife shouts, "Kitty!" A black cat was laying on the road. Apparently I almost ran him over. Now, my wife is very kind-hearted and loves cats. So we have a routine when we see a stray doing something dangerous out in the cold. I hop out, try to convince the cat to come over so we can take it to a shelter, it runs away. Which, this is fine. I'll just scare the cat off the road and move on with our anniversary. This cat, he had other plans. I hop out of the car and he looks up, sees me, and pads over, calm as can be. Lets me pick him up and put him in the back of the car. I drive over to the bar he was sitting in front of, ask if he's somebody's. Note that he's stick-thin, dirty, and looks near starvation. They say he's a stray that lives at the machine shop nearby. By the time I get back to the car he's in my wife's lap, asleep. We're both a little worried he's going to die on the drive home. My wife is talking a big game about taking him to a shelter, but the only no-kill shelter in the area we live in will be closed by the time we can get there, and I know she'll regret letting him go away forever, so I suggest we call my little brother whose fiancé also loves cats and who has a 15-year-old cat who, while healthy, is old. I assume he'll say no, they only have an apartment. We'll end up with the cat. He says yes. We get the cat fixed, vaccinated, and tested. They take the cat for a month, until he and the 15-year-old who's probably 4 pounds smaller than him get in a fight. The cat comes back to my basement. Now for the drama. New cat Sanya, 12 pounds, long black fur, still growing so far as we can tell, has the guest room. He's pretty happy in there but likes to ramble and loves attention and being where people are. Grim does not like other cats. Grim doesn't like other people, he loves his people, just not guests he hasn't seen at least a dozen times. Sanya on the other hand, loves everyone. And Grim. He's tried being submissive. He's tried being friendly. He wants to play. Grim wants none of this. Grim will hiss if Sanya moves towards him. Even through a grate. 3 times Sanya has broken containment methods to try to see Grim. By which I mean 3 times Grim has deigned to leave his massive cat tower while Sanya was out. Sanya runs up. Grim flees. Sanya chases. Grim decides it's time to fight and piles of black Sanya fur fly everywhere while Grim yowls as if he's being murdered, while winning the cat fight hard. If he'd stand his ground and say he's boss he'd be fine. If Sanya could acknowledge that his attention isn't wanted and that the other cat has 5 pounds on him and can royally kick his ass, things would be fine. But Grim thinks it's life or death. He's terrified of a cat he could absolutely kick the ass of. Who he had kicked the ass of in the 10 seconds it's taken me to separate them. At this rate it's going to take years before they work out an appropriate pecking order and just leave each other be. I'd love advice. They have plenty of food. They've been around each other a fair bit, but each with their own space. They get lots of attention. On the plus side, Grim has lost some tub since Sanya entered the home. He's still huge, but lanky huge.